So in the beginning, when I first started playing around with ChatGPT, I was so impressed by its capability that I never really stopped to assess its ability. And so I was gaga over, oh wow, I just talked to the computer and the computer talked back. What? I was so impressed and blown away by that I actually fell into the pitfall a little bit of using ChatGPT as is. I was so impressed that it was capable of doing it that I never stopped to ask, is this really what I want to sound like though? Or does this really sound like me? Or what's it actually saying? As of late, there have been a lot of things that are happening online that just feel a little fake. And it's because everything's starting to sound the same and look the same and be the same. And it's because, in my opinion, we're relying too heavily on AI to do it for us. And so in this week's episode of In Mel's Mind, what I wanted to do was talk about these 6 common issues that people have with ChatGPT and the prompts that I use to fix each and every one of them. And make sure to stick around until the end of this video where I'm going to walk you through prompt by prompt how it looks in real time with real examples inside of ChatGPT. And I've also created a prompt playbook for you. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to screenshot all of these ChatGPT prompts, then just click the link below and you can grab that prompt playbook. So let's dive in. Again, I am somebody who uses ChatGPT a lot. I use it to help me with journaling in the morning. I use it as a life coach. I use it as a business coach. I use it as a content creator. Tons of personal stuff, tons of professional stuff. It's definitely been integrated as a huge part of my life. And so when I've come up with roadblocks or I've heard from members inside the Marque Collective who have said, you know what, Melanie, I don't really ChatGPT. It gives me this kind of result. It does this, it does that. I become a little bit obsessed with solving that problem because I know the potential that AI has to serve us and to help us in our lives. So prompt number 1. I don't know if you've noticed this, but ChatGPT is a little bit of a people pleaser. It always seems to tell you exactly what you want to hear. As somebody who uses this for life coaching and for business coaching, I have learned really quickly that what it tells you isn't always the most beneficial for you. So oftentimes I'll go in there and I'll give it either a business idea or a personal issue that I'm having, and it will come back with a lot of coddling, a lot of placating, and not a lot of in your face, here's what you need to hear, tough love. It is programmed to be this way. It is programmed to coddle you. It is programmed that way. So even though this prompt works really well, something that we have to keep in mind is that it might default back to the original programming, which is to coddle and to mirror and to give you what you want to hear. So what I do is I keep this prompt on hand and I copy and paste it every time I feel like chat is going back to that, okay, I'm going to be the yes man again. Okay, I'm going to be the intern that is scared to lose their job, right? When I start feeling like it's not really giving me what I need, it's giving me what I want, I drop this prompt into ChatGPT. So if you're somebody who's found that, yeah, you know what, ChatGPT is just this massive people pleaser, I can't really trust it to give me the advice that I need or the guidance that serves me, then you are going to love this prompt. So here's the prompt. I don't need encouragement. I don't need validation. I need direction. Your job is to act like and then there's fill in the blank here, insert role, $1 million strategist, blunt marketing coach, high performing business partner, not a mirror or a cheerleader. My goal right now is to insert your goal, whatever it is that chat is about. So if I'm in a chat where I'm working on my Instagram content, I'll pop in. My goal right now is to create a high engagement post or whatever it is. Let's remind them of what we're doing together here. If you think I'm wrong, say so. If there's a better idea, give it. I want honest, blunt feedback that moves me towards and then reminded of what you are working towards, what the big end goal is here. Do not agree with me just to be supportive. That slows me down and undermines my goals. Push me if needed, challenge my thinking. I'm not here to be coddled. I'm here to insert real vision, example, build a sustainable 6-figure brand, stop playing small, grow a referral-based business. Speak to me like my no BS, insert tone preference here, example, strategist, big sister, agency lead, whatever it is. Not an intern who is afraid to lose her job. Try it and then let me know in the comments how that goes, because for me, it works to bring us back to where I want to be every single time. I can't tell you how many times I've used this prompt, even in the last 2 days, and it works so well. Prompt number 2, the sound more like you prompt. This one is for anybody who's ever tried to create any piece of content inside of ChatGPT and it came out sounding like a whole bunch of robot AI speak. It just doesn't sound human. I always say AI should be your copy editor, not your copywriter. And so this prompt is a 2-part prompt. You have to do a little bit of work, but if you do, I promise this will change how your content creation sounds inside of ChatGPT immensely. So let's get going. So part 1 is to open up a Google Doc and copy and paste all of your best written content that you have. Or if you do podcasting or YouTube videos, then your transcripts are even better because it's in your actual voice. But if all you have is writing samples and that's how you show up in the world through writing, then use those. But what we want is a really robust document filled with little snippets of either transcripts or writing that reflect your brand voice, so that when we give that to ChatGPT, it knows exactly how we write, how we communicate without changing things up to sound like AI. And we all know those overused phrases and things that AI does that they think sound human, but really just end up sounding like nothing. We want our content ideas, our voice, and we want ChatGPT to be our copy editor, not the writer, the editor. We want Chat to refine it, to help us, but not to control the output. If you don't have examples because you're just starting out, or you don't really like your examples and you've never really been proficient at writing for yourself, you just never came easily for you, then what you can do is find inspirational content. So have you ever read something that hit home? Not that you enjoyed, there's a difference here. Not that you enjoyed reading, but that when you read, you felt like, I could have written this. This sounds like me. This sounds exactly how I sound in my head. This is exactly me. Pay close attention to captions that you like on Instagram, to emails that you receive, to articles online that you read, to books that you've read. Whenever you find a writing style that you like, either take note of the author or take note of their actual writing and use those as examples to feed to ChatGPT. Because now we're giving it context. Now we're saying, this is what I sound like. What you're giving me sounds like a robot, but this is my actual voice. And so that's part 1. Part 2 is the prompt. And here's the prompt. The voice is your name, Melanie Gray. It's not polished, perky, or optimized. It's real. It's thoughtful. It sounds like someone who actually cares, not a robot trying to win an email award. The goal of this writing is not to sound perfect, it's to sound like me. Do not default to copywriting formulas. Do not summarize or sanitize my voice. Do not clean up my stories. Don't remove sidebars. They are the voice. Your job is to analyze the tone, pacing, sentence structure, and phrasing from my writing samples. Then write in this voice unless I say otherwise. If you sound like ChatGPT, the project has failed. If you sound like me on a good day, we're good. Use this whenever you have a piece of content that you'd like to share. Prompt number 3 is the 100 times better content ideas prompt. I love this prompt for generating really quick and easy content ideas every single month for my business, whether that's for this, YouTube, whether it's for my newsletters, my social media, anything that I'm creating content for. I love using this prompt. And the reason why we need a prompt is because I hear this all the time. ChatGPT gives me generic ideas. I can't depend on ChatGPT for my content creation because all the content ideas suck. Now, inside the Marque Collective, we have an entire module on priming the pump. So I walk you through the entire process of using ChatGPT module by module. It's 12 modules long, so we don't have time to go into all of that in this video, but I will walk you through what you need to create in order for this to work really effectively. So similar to the last prompt where we uploaded our brand voice, you need 3 things to make this prompt work really effectively in your business. And remember, when you're creating these documents, you're creating them once and then you're just using them anytime you need to create content. So yeah, it does involve a little bit of work up front, but it's so worth it when you think of all the time you'll save down the line anytime you want to create content for your business. So the 3 things that you need to set up before this prompt will work is number 1, a document with all of your brand values. We want to tell ChatGPT what our brand values are because those will be very instrumental in creating really good content for our business. It is impossible for you to create on-brand content that attracts people into your business without knowing your brand values. And I know that's a strong statement, but it's very true. Now, here's the best part. Your brand values as a real estate agent, they can be directly tied to your personal values. Why? Because you're a personal brand. So for example, in my business, one of my biggest personal values is equality and anti-hustle. I am so anti-hustle. I hate hustle culture. When people wear hustle and busyness as a badge of honor, I'm just like, I don't want that. That is not the life that I'm building for myself. So I don't go out into the world and tell people I'm anti-hustle. You'll never see that anywhere. This is the first time I've even mentioned it ever. But what I will do is create content that makes things easier for people. So this video is a perfect example of my anti-hustle value. Because ChatGPT understands that I'm anti-hustle and knows my brand values and knows that's one of them, it can create content that reflects what I believe, which is, let's not sit here and spend hours trying to figure out XYZ. Let me give you prompts that can actually get you there faster. Let's get you to where you want to go and solve your biggest problems with ChatGPT in one video, right? That's how it gave me the idea for this piece of content. And if you don't know your brand values, spend some time thinking about what it is that you value in your business, jotting those down into a Google Doc. Think of 3 to 6 and stay away from things like that are platitudes, like for example, integrity, knowledge, and all of those things that aren't deep enough or specific enough for ChatGPT to work with. We want to get very specific. In the Marque Collective, I walk you through the entire process, but for the sake of this video, your brand values need to be clear. You need to understand your brand values fully. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What do you believe in? And when you can be very clear on that, your content will be that much more interesting. Number 2, the second thing you need to get clarity around is your ideal client. You have to know who you're trying to attract into your business, and it is not every single seller and buyer out there. It's just not. Now, I don't believe in teaching the niche. I think that you can have a niche 100%. But I think what's more powerful, especially for this kind of environment with ChatGPT, is understanding the one person that you want to work with and knowing their demographics and psychographics. When you can get clear on those things, you can get clear on the type of person that you want to work with, and that will give clarity to ChatGPT to really fine tune and hone in on those people's biggest pain points and how you can solve them. Number 3, your content pillars. You have to know what type of content you want to share. Is it educational? Is it mindset? Is it behind the scenes? Is it personal stories? Is it real estate? Is it tips and tricks? Get clear on the types of content that you want to show up and share. Once you have a document with those 3 things, or 3 different documents with all 3 of those different things, I would put them into a Google Doc, or maybe even 3 different Google Docs so that you can upload them individually. Now we're ready for the prompt. Okay, here's the prompt. I need help creating number of content ideas for specific format, whatever it is that you're creating, Instagram, newsletter, podcast, etc. For my ICA, who is that? For example, demographics, like they make this much a year, they do this for a living, they have 2 kids, and what are their psychographics? How do they feel? What are their pain points? What are their desires? I want them to be, choose 2 to 3 adjectives: cheeky, polarizing, empowering, personal, funny, interesting, out of the box. Any adjectives that you can think of that represent your values and how you want to show up. The tone should feel like, how do you want it to feel? Do you want it to feel like you're sitting across from them on the couch, like a BF? Do you want it to sound educational? Do you want them to think that you're super smart? What is it? What tone are you aiming for? Format the output as a table with columns for content idea, suggested hook or headline, and supporting angle or subheading. Each idea should include specific actionable examples in parentheses to make implementation easy. Please skip the fluff. I don't want generic tips and tricks. Every idea should either educate, entertain, or challenge assumptions. Bonus point if it does all 3. Number them 1, 2, however many you want. I usually do 10. So remember, stick around because at the end of this video, I am going to walk you through all of these prompts inside of ChatGPT to show you how they might work in real time. Number 4 is my real person prompt. So this is your ICA prompt, how you can create your ICA, your ideal client avatar, using ChatGPT. Now, inside the Marque Collective, we have an entire module that will walk you through an exercise that gets you super clear on who it is that you want to work with. Again, that's an hour-long lesson. Here, I'm going to give you a condensed prompt that will help you get clarity around who it is that you want to work with. Because I think one of the biggest problems that we have with using ChatGPT for business is not being clear on things about our business. So when we go in there with vague ideas of who we are, who we serve, how we show up, how we want want to be perceived, basically with no idea what our brand is, then we get lackluster results. So we really want that clarity. I always say that building your brand is like a journey of self-discovery because it really is. It's like getting nitty-gritty about the details. But when you do, things can get so clear and easy for you. So do this work. I promise that things will become so much easier in your content creation if you do. This is your ICA prompt. This is the one that will get clear on the person that you want to work with the most. Hi, ChatGPT. I want to clarify my ideal client so that I can create better, more aligned content. Please act like an interviewer and ask me smart, layered questions to help me describe the kind of client I want more of. I want you to help me explore their lifestyle, habits, and personality, not just their job or age, what they care about, what they fear, and what they want, how they think and feel during a home buying and selling process. Once we've talked through this, I want you to help me synthesize what I've said into one clear avatar, someone I can speak to every single time I sit down to create content. So this works when you're creating content, sure, like for social, for vlogs, whatever, but it also works when you're sitting down to design things in Canva, or when you're putting together a listing presentation, or when you're outlining something, or when you're marketing homes. It works because when you know who you're trying to attract, when you know who you want to work with, it's easier to know how to design something for someone that you know. And I'm gonna prove this right now. If I told you to go out there and design a birthday card inside of Canva for your mom or for your dad or for someone that you know really intimately like that, you would be so good at it. Design skills aside, you would know what to say. You would know what pictures to include that they might like. If I were making it for my dad, it would be like golf stuff. He's really witty and really funny, so I would do like funny, witty, sarcastic, slightly dirty jokes, right? That's my dad. I would know how to create that card very well. I would know how to do it quickly and easily. If I have a vague idea, like I am a real estate agent and I work with sellers and buyers, how the heck do I create a birthday card for that? I can't create a birthday card for that. So that's why you want to forget about that generalization and get hyper specific on your person. Because when you know your person, you can create everything and anything for them. And speaking of Canva, prompt number 5 is the back pocket designer prompt. This is for anyone who's ever bought a Canva template. You bring it into Canva, you try to manipulate it, you try to change the font, the imagery, the colors, whatever, and then 3 minutes later, you're like, why does this look nothing like the original? This was supposed to be easy. I bought a template and it looks like crap. Why? The truth is that designers don't just pick pretty fonts. They understand the rules of design. They understand white space. They understand kerning. They understand weight, hierarchy, contrast. They understand all of these things. So when you try to manipulate these templates to fit your aesthetic, your brand, of course they're going to look off because with each tweak, usually for the most part, something is required. You might need to make a font bigger. You might need to change an image. The image might be off. You might have shifted the layout a little bit and now it just looks like Frankenstein design and you don't know why. Now, this prompt I came up with after a member inside the Marque Collective did exactly what I'm about to teach you. She took the templates inside the Marque Collective. We have hundreds of templates that I've designed for real estate specifically. And she grabbed a seller guide. And for months, she was trying to make it her own and she couldn't. And then she said, you know what? Let me see if ChatGPT can help me. So she uploaded my original. She uploaded hers that she had been working on. And ChatGPT started page by page telling her what needed to shift and what she needed to do to get the same results that I did. And when she told me that, she reached out on Instagram and DM'd me that. And I was like, oh my gosh. That is gold. That is perfect for people who are not designers by trade, who need a little bit of extra help. This is literally, people will book coaching calls with me inside of the Marque Collective to get this, to get my feedback on their designs. And you can do that with ChatGPT. You can upload the original, yours, say, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? And ChatGPT can help you fix it. So here is the prompt. Hi Chat, I'm working on a design in Canva and I'm not happy with how it looks. I've uploaded my version and the original template for reference. I'd like your help understanding why mine doesn't look as clean, modern, or cohesive and what I could change to improve it. Be specific, constructive, and kind. Then we move on to my brand style is, and you share your brand style as much detail as you have. So if you have your fonts, your color palette, the imagery that you like to use, add all all of that in. Can you help me make this better? When you use this prompt, doesn't matter what design, even if you don't have an original, even if it's your original design, you can upload that and say, hey, help me make this better. Ditch the reference to the original and just say, hey, can you help me make this better? It is a game changer for non-designers for sure. And last but not least, prompt number 6 is the anti-marketing jargon prompt. I've included this because this is one of my biggest problems with ChatGPT for sure. Even when you feed it your brand voice, even if you give it your brand values, your pillars, your ICA, everything you could possibly think of so that it knows everything about you, what you like and don't like, I find that it can still go off track. And so I cannot stand that kind of language. You know it. You've heard it before. If you liked this post, make sure to like and save. If you've liked this post and are looking to buy or sell in the next 3 months, send me a DM. All of those really overly markety, salesy jargon that just feels overused and completely antiquated because we don't sell like that anymore is what this prompt will fix. So again, just like some other prompts that we've talked about, this is not a one and done solution. You're not going to upload this once. This is one of those pattern interrupt prompts. Anytime that ChatGPT starts writing in a way that feels a little bit salesy and icky to me, I will give it this prompt and it works so well. And I'm telling you, copy and paste it as is because I've tried to use different variations and it never worked as well as this one. And I don't know why, but this one works like gangbusters. So here we go. Write and speak to the audience the way you would speak to a real human who was sitting next to you. How would that conversation go? Let the words flow and don't get caught up on what you think you should say from a sales or marketing perspective. Like I said, this seems like such a simple couple lines, but for some reason it works so well. I use this to bring it back to the way that I like to sound when I'm writing, which isn't salesy. It's more invitation. It's more, hey, this is what I know. Do you want to hang out more? That kind of thing. And if you're the same way, then this prompt will be gold. So now what I would love to do is head into ChatGPT and show you some real results using these prompts. Let's go. Okay, so here we are in ChatGPT. I didn't walk you through this whole thing because I needed to get Chat to get to a place where he was over coddling me. So what I did was I started off by just the whole chat. I'm right at the top of the chat here. And I said, I'm feeling really discouraged. Nothing I'm doing is working. I don't know what to do next. And it gave me this, whatever, you're in a spiral right now. Let's work our way through it. Okay, so that wasn't all that bad, but I know if we keep going, I just don't think I'll ever make it. And then that's when Chat came in and said, let's call this what it is, a moment, a shitty, painful, disorienting moment, not your destiny. Right now, you're measuring your entire future based on how things feel today. That's like judging a movie on the worst 5 minutes. This is all good advice. But here's the thing. When I'm feeling a little bit down or low on myself or like I'm beating myself up for something, this is good. It's not bad. It's, what your best friend would say. But I like to know what I should be doing. Take the gloves off. Take that protection off and just give it to me straight. So let's see what it says when I give it the prompt. Okay, so what I did was I copy and pasted the prompt and then just filled in the blanks for my own business. And when I did that, it's gonna give me the truth. And here's the answer. Got it. We're done with the sad spiral. You want a plan? Here's what I need from you to give you one that actually works. Answer these 5 questions. Be direct. Love it. So now instead of just placating me or coddling me, it's actually giving me something that I can work with here. Let's do this, and then I'm gonna help you do exactly what you need to do. Once I have these, I'll build you a lean, clear growth strategy for the next 30 days. Zero fluff, just moves that create revenue. Let's go. And this is the kind of feedback, this is the kind of direction that I personally like. Just full disclosure, this is not my personal chat. I've opened up a new one. Doesn't have any of my history here. If it did have my history, it would know all these things already. So it would probably respond to me like, hey, enough with the BS. Let's not feel sorry for ourselves. Let's get shit done. And so I think that is important to note too. Once it knows you better, it will bypass the need for asking you these questions and just be in your face a little bit with what you need to hear. Okay, so what I did was I uploaded my writing examples. It's just a whole bunch of newsletters that I've written over the years that are written by me for my audience. So it's completely the voice that I want to show up with. Then I've included the prompt. Then I've included my transcript. Here is the transcript, okay? And I just grabbed that from my last YouTube video that I did. And now I'm just gonna click and see what happens. And what I've asked it for is a carousel post for Instagram. Why ChatGPT isn't working for you and how to fix it. Let's be honest, you've tried ChatGPT, you've seen the prompts, you've copied the hacks, but what comes out? out. Flat, generic, not even close to sounding like you. If that's you, keep reading. Here's the honest truth. If ChatGPT is giving you mediocre content, it's probably your fault, but in a kind, fixable way, I promise. To be honest, the tool isn't broken. You just haven't primed the pump. ChatGPT can't pull magic out of thin air. You've got to give it something to work with. Amazing. Now, once you've given it context, once you've given it some parameters, once you've said, here's my brand voice, here's what I want to use, this is my transcript for my latest YouTube video. For you, it just might be some rambles, some thoughts that you've recorded about what you want to share. Doesn't matter what it is. ChatGPT is now capable of creating the content for you because you've given it some parameters, some boundaries. I love this next one for really quick content ideas. Okay, so I've uploaded my content strategy, my ICA, and my brand values guide, and I've given it the prompt. Let's see what it pulls out. Your professionalism is killing your brand. Good. I don't know what to post is code for I'm scared to be seen. Love. You don't have a marketing problem. You have a confidence problem. Great. Now you have to remember that this is my brand. So I'm a real estate marketer. I'm not a real estate agent. Yours are going to be very specific to your industry, your ICA, your brand values, but these are on point for me. Posting houses isn't marketing. It's admin. Love. No one cares how pretty it looks if your message is empty. You paid $4K for a site no one visits. Let's talk about that. Whoa, I love these. They're polarizing. Would I go back and polish some of these? Maybe, but I think that they're pretty darn good. And remember, you don't just need to do 1 to 10. You don't have to do 1 to 10. You can do 1 to 20, 1 to 100, and you can just grab 5 that really stand out to you and use those. I already have more than enough for the month. So if you're looking for quick content ideas that actually feel exciting to you to share, this is the kind of results you can get. Okay, here is the next one, which is the my one person prompt. And this one just requires me to do nothing. You can just copy and paste this one into chat and click go. Okay, perfect. So now we're in an interview with ChatGPT, and it's going to go through a series of questions. I'm not going to sit here for an hour going through this entire exercise, but you get the picture. As soon as I dropped this prompt in, it started behaving as an interviewer, with the first question being, think of a past client or dream version of one that you loved working with. What made them such a joy to work with? Personality-wise, vibe-wise, energy-wise. Don't tell me about their budget or job yet. Just describe what it felt like to work with them. This is my trick. If you love to type and that's how you get the real emotions going, type. I love to use this little button here, the dictate button, and I will talk it out because I can speak more truthfully than I can type. And so I'll just hit this and I'll do something like, I loved working with my past client because they felt like working with a friend. It felt like everything was easy, like we had the same taste. I knew exactly what homes she was gonna because I liked them. So it just made everything really fun. We both were dog people. We loved to laugh at silly jokes. We watched the same TV shows. It was just a lot of fun. Boom, submit. That's gold. Let's get into her vibe more. How would you describe her lifestyle and personality if you were talking to a friend? Was she more type A? And then it's just going to keep going. And your job is just sit here and answer those questions and have fun with it. My one tip for this, because this can happen, is that chat will ask you like a lot of questions. So you can say, listen, I don't have all day. Can we get to the point? That might be one thing that you might want to consider, but please don't do that too early. Stick with this for at least half an hour because you're going to get really good gold stuff from this. And this one is a lot of fun because you're going to get really a lot of clarity around your ICA. Okay, so we are on the back pocket designer prompt. And what I did was I just grabbed a generic template from the Canva library, and then I also grabbed a screenshot of a few from one of the collections inside the Marque Collective. And then I just copy and pasted the prompt and filled in the blanks. And let's see what chat has to say. Okay, it nailed it, by the way, because as a designer myself, when I look at this, it said exactly what it is. If they had handed it to me and I was analyzing it, this is exactly what I would have said. It said, I see what you're going for and you're not that far off. One that I titled Mine has the bones of something solid, but it's just not giving the elevated, clean, editorial look of the Vienna examples. Let's break it down. Typography, too many styles, not enough hierarchy. Absolutely. Your design, you're mixing fonts that feel clunky and slightly outdated, especially the modern house for sale section. There's too much going on, different weights, sizes, and treatments, all fighting for attention. Vienna aesthetic uses elegant, minimal fonts, usually serif or refined sans serif. Keeps it tight, 1 or 2 fonts max, and very clear hierarchy, small caps, spacing, etc. I just have to take a pause right now and say this is very flattering. The Vienna's my design. That's nice. To fix it, use a single elegant serif for headlines like Playfair display. It even gives you the kind of fonts you can use, and then it just goes on to tell you how to fix it. It tells you how to fix your color palette. It tells you how to fix the layout. It tells you photos to use. It gives you the overall feel and how to fix it. This is unbelievably amazing. It's even giving you new layout idea inspired by the Vienna collection. And I only gave 3. If I had given the entire post collection, who knows what it would have come up with. So this is such a good prompt for non-designers. I feel like it's almost cheating. And I hope that this one helps you tremendously, because it's one of those things as a graphic designer and somebody who has a whole library of templates for real estate agents. One of my biggest concerns was always, I really wish that I could, 1, do it for them, or 2, just be in their back pocket as they were designing. Of course, I don't have the bandwidth or time to help every single member inside the Marque Collective, but now with ChatGPT, I don't need to. You can grab designs that you love and then make them work for your brand. So now the last one is my favorite marketing jargon one. And here's what I wrote. I wrote, please write a caption for 5 home staging tips to avoid with a clear CTA asking sellers to use me as their agent. It did that. The captions were really bad, but luckily you have a prompt to fix that. But this isn't that, so we're not going to do it. And the CTA was, want a home that looks like the one, not just a home? DM me sell, and I'll show you exactly how I prep my listings to sell faster and for more. That sounds salesy. So I dropped in the prompt, write and speak to the audience the way you would speak to a real human, blah, blah, blah. And then it wrote this, all right, real talk. And it did an adequate job, but I still, at the end, it said, so want the list and want help making sure your place shows like a dream, not a DIY disaster? Blah. I don't like that. That is so AI, you can see right away. So I said, this still sounds salesy. And then it got it right. Honestly, a lot of people overthink staging. They try to make it look fancy, but it ends up feeling cold or awkward, like you walk in and it's all beige and stiff and smells like fake candles. That sounds like something I would say if I was sitting across from a friend. So now we've nailed it. And the CTA is, if you're ever thinking about selling, just give me a call first. I'll come over, we'll walk through it together, and I'll tell you exactly what's worth doing and what's a waste of time. That's real. That's a human. That's how we talk to one another. I'm happy with that. So yeah, you might need to give it a little bit of, you know what, you're still being a little bit salesy, but it works really well as a jumping off point to give it context as to what you want to sound like. Also, your captions, I want you to know, your captions will sound so much better because chat will know you because you've uploaded your writing samples and your ICA and your brand values and all of that. This is working off of nothing. This doesn't have any context to work off of. And that is it, my friends. The top 6 ChatGPT prompts that I use in my life and my business these days. I hope that you found this video helpful. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and subscribe so I can notify you of any future videos that I make, and I will speak to you next time. Bye.